Let's play some matches with the fast serve, substantial forehand in high tours of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell if you like this video. So please note that all the matches of this video were played before the 13th of January 2021 update. So the stats for both players are different from what you have now in the game, but the gameplay hasn't changed at all. It's the same. Same speed of the characters, same stamina consumption, same speed of serve, same shots, power, etc. Okay, so let's start the matches versus Hong Kun in Tour 8. I use the koala string in this match, which has a backhand counter, stamina Shield tier 2, critical ability tier 2. Critical is not always useful for me because, well, my swipe is not always registered very correctly on my phone, so it is not triggered as often as I wish. Anyway, unlike a precision, which is triggered all the time, critical is like the quick catch. It is activated only if you are lucky enough. So only now and then, but especially when you have strong hand stats. So my opponent was using Maestro Monty. That means that he decided not to take any risk of stamina drain. Didn't take the choker quartz or Siberian wire. Choker quartz would give him the long catch, but would drain his stamina much faster, given that he was using the cabo load instead of antioxidants. Same thing with Siberian wire. By the end of the match, he would have big problem. So he doesn't use that string either. But the problem with that Maestro Monty is that conserves the stamina but doesn't allow Kaito to long catch, so I basically needed to hit strong forehand shots to outflank him. Well, let's play versus the very powerful Kaito of the top player Schumacher. I was playing with the bullseye and weightlifting instead of the hammer and the mountain climber. So I had a more substantial forehand, higher stamina, but a much weaker backhand for that match. And in other matches in this video. So I was using the Maestro Monty. This is the string that I use by default when I play in Tour 7. Whether I play with high serve, big forehand, high serve, two strong hands, or volley, or low serve, aggressive baseliner, counter puncher, etc. But I mostly play with high serve and volley lately. So Schumacher started the match pretty well. I committed summon for Seros at first, and then my shots started to be a bit more accurate. And of course, that's easier to outflank Kaito when powerful shots go in. Yeah, still this inaccuracy during the match. Fortunately, I can adjust the swipe gesture. Generally, after some inaccurate shots, I adjust the swipe length, and that's going a bit better. Lucky ace there. So of course I kept attacking because that's the only way to outflank Kaito, especially when he has 101 agility, like here. Talking about the 101 agility, it was too high a stat, not realistic at all, so the publisher reduced it and changed a bit the stats after the 13th of January 2021 update to make it more realistic. Let's play a match in Tour 8 versus you lose. Counter puncher capable of defending very well. He was using the choker quartz, which was appropriate for his build given that he was using antioxidant, so he had more stamina than if he was using carbo load. And the use of choker quartz is possible in that case, but he still need to, well, end the match pretty quickly, because otherwise all those long catch will end up wearing him out. So for me, I was using the koala string, and that was more appropriated than, yeah, very nice defensive shot there. Then during the first match that you saw in Tour 8 versus Horn Kun, very simply because in that match, Yulus has a stronger backhand than forehand. In the first match, well, I chose to play with koala string very simply because I had many more koala string than forehand counter special strings. Precision on the backhand return of my opponent, but that's not always useful. He has those very nice soft returns falling by the mid-court, and they are not so easy to return for my Victoria, who has low agility. Yeah, two unlucky shots for Yulus. A double fault and then decent for Syrah. And then because I knew that he would know that I'm going to hit that cross-court drop shot, I hit the other side towards the corner. Yeah, I found some last stamina to hit that backhand. A cross-court forehand, and same thing here. I don't hit that cross-court drop shot by the end like I usually do. Well, let's use now the bullseye to have a more substantial forehand versus Fly Geo. Very good top counter puncher, having high stats. He was using the choker quartz, so this string can give him an edge, especially at the beginning of the match when this Kaito has plenty of stamina. But it was rather me who was hitting inaccurate shots, giving him some free points. Yeah, very nice counter puncher shot. Yep, inaccuracy was really high. And a very low serve. Fortunately, my opponent didn't punish me for that very weak serve. So as you can see, I don't hit all the time on windshield wiper mode. So I don't hit one corner and then the other corner all the time. I diversify the spots where I hit, because otherwise it will be too easy to read if I keep that hitting pattern. Flajo tried a fast return, but it didn't go in, and then that starts to be a bit more accurate for him. Some slight problems on the serve. And after that, even long catch can't help this Kaito because he was too far from the ball. Let's play now versus Ite Baek. who was still having low stats. Now he has much higher stats. Not because the stats have increased after the update of 13th of January, but because he has maxed the hammer in the forge. And since he has climbed a lot in trophies, so in this match he was using a string that has a big forehand don't like at all. The anniversary string, which has a forehand counter, long cash tier 2, which is a nightmare for high sub big forehand players, and a stamina shield tier 1 only, fortunately. So it's basically the same abilities than the Siberian Wire with a stamina shield tier 1 instead of a critical tier 1. I was using the bullseye instead of the hammer in this match to have a slightly more substantial forehand stat, but of course it's at the expense of my backhand stat. 2 more forehand points, but 10 less backhand points. Okay, so as you can see, with that string, Kaitos can lead pretty easily after the first part of the match, because they have plenty of stamina. But afterwards, well, by the second part of the match, things will get a bit more complicated for Kaitos with their stamina being drained. So that's not so easy for them to return to activate long catch. And then by the end of the match, Victoria has a huge advantage with that fast serve. And of course a substantial forehand to keep the initiative. Yeah, no more stamina, so long catch can't really be activated very often. Nice return. Yeah, the quick serve is really helpful by the end. When this Kaito has low stamina, that's exactly the weapon that you need to outflank Kaito more easily. And the cross-court shot is always helpful, of course. Versus Kaito, who has almost no more stamina. And by the end, of course, with that stamina level, it's really, really very hard for Kaito to do anything. Let's play now the last match versus another Victoria using high serve, substantial forehand. So the backhand of this opponent was weaker. It was the only chance for me, because otherwise I would have been crushed by this very good high serve big forehand player who was using the Siberian Wire. So of course the string is going to wear him out by the end of the match. This is going to be a long match. Very simply because, well, I prefer to say right now, my Victoria's stamina is not that high. Agility is not very high either. I don't choose to play with a ballistic and the koi like some top players using the high serve big forehand style do, like a Shoni Shoni or Omer or Barat. So they use the ballistic with the koi to have more agility, but their serve is lower in that case. So of course playing with ballistic and the koi is helpful to counter better the volley players with their big forehand. As for me, well, I have tried to play with the koi too, but I switched back pretty quickly to ballistic and mountain climber. Very simply because I'm not good playing with high serve, big forehand. So I need a faster serve. And so all that to say that with stamina which is going to be declining by the end, and the agility which is not very high, well, this is not so hard for my opponent to hit aces a lot by the second part of the match. And that very good serve that he has allow him to stay alive that long, even with a pretty lower stamina bar during the second part of the match. Of course, whenever I could return with great difficulty, well, he was just smashing with his big forehand. Yeah, very nice serve. Bullet serve. A very nice dive returns too. This opponent has obviously a lot of experience playing with high serve, big forehand. His positioning is very good, but of course with a lower stamina, even if I don't serve very well, I can still ace him. As you can see, the speed of my serve is not very high. And still, they are aces. Yeah. Punishing me completely with those serves. So that will be basically a matter of who is going to guess correctly to serve and to return in a way that is too difficult for the opponent to counter, and that could be that shot. Of course, an ace to finish. Pretty tough match that was. Very well played, ITP XMM 85. Well, you are seeing now the 3 builds that I was using for all those matches. So the stats are different, as I said right from the start of this video, but the gameplay was the same. So I used the hammer, ballistic and mountain climber. Then in some matches the bullseye and weightlifting. And the last build, the bullseye and mountain climber, very simply. Well, I hope you enjoy watching those matches play with fast serve, substantial forehand in Tour 7 and 8 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support, and see you soon on Gameplay 365. Bye-bye.